Welcome back for another episode of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me is head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, happy to be back.
All right, Coach, you're at the Midwest Classic in Indianapolis. You had two individual champions, Ethan Hardy and Nick Johnson. You finished 8th as a team out of 47. It's kind of like a mini nationals the way they set it up. How do you think the weekend went?
I thought it went really well. I think a tournament of this caliber is like the NCAA tournament where you can't get too up, can't get too down. There's a lot of roller coasters in it. Day one went really well for us. We're sitting at third at the end, and we got 6 in the quarterfinals. Really had an opportunity to probably have 8 in the quarterfinals. 2 matches that we lost that were pretty close. One being off of a call that got overturned, and the takedown would have put it into overtime. So then you never know, kind of in overtime. And then one in overtime where we thought we had 3 and was not awarded. But that's wrestling, and I think that'll be good for those guys. They got to find ways to win those matches, those close ones that matter. But then day 2 came around, and day 2 was up and down, which you're definitely going to expect that more because you get down to the top 16 in each one. The wrestlers they're the top guys, but. You don't want to make excuses for guys, and it's not an excuse. It's kind of the truth. But at the same time, I think adversity is always good for us. We talked about this last week with the Lander stuff. But I think more day 2 on some of our results and us going from a 3rd to 7th or 8th, wherever we finished up at, was more really based up our guys being dinged up. We had multiple guys, one that didn't get a wrestle at all that we got there in the morning and was going to kind of see. So he didn't get to go. And then, a couple others that, had one kid that I think might have had the flu or on the backside or front side of it, probably more on the backside, was pretty sick and wrestled pretty decent. We had one kid the second day that had I don't want to say significant, a moderate hamstring tear that it was pretty tough and wrestled the whole time. But it's really tough to beat good guys on 2 legs, let alone 1. And so, his matches it was really impossible. He went out there really looking to, hey, maybe I'll catch a pin in a position, like if an opportunity catches it and I can use my upper body to snag a pin, I'll do it. And so tough on him for that. And then just like I said, the second day is a lot tougher. A couple other guys, lost really close matches and stuff that they just got to get better. Right? We got to get better as a team of finding quick finishes, being able to score, getting through the guys' bodies, getting those guys through the mat, and not allowing scrambles to happen. But overall, 3 placers was really good. Colton finishing on the podium there. He didn't feel very well all weekend, so that was good. And then, you have the 2 champs with Ethan Hardy, kind of paving his way. And we kind of all knew that this is something that he's capable of, and at this weight class that he can be a problem. He's really big at the class. He uses his body really well. He wrestled really tough in the finals. He was losing with 40 seconds to go on a restart, started sprinting, got to the legs a couple times, ended up winning on a counter offense where he just wrestled really hard for the 7 minutes, and it paid off for him against a guy who, not only is a returning All-American and number 5 in the country, but is someone that's in our conference as well. And so, our conference at 141 is tough. You have Kai Vaughn, who is in this tournament. He's the number 2 guy in the whole country. You have Stone King, who we beat in the finals, who's number 5 in the whole country. So now with Hardy doing that puts us to where we have a real possibility of us going to the finals or being up on the front side at the MEC tournament and having those 2 guys that are top 5 in the country have to wrestle each other in the semis. So he did a lot for not only himself this weekend, but maybe for our team in the MEC conference as well, which is always nice. But I was proud of the way he wrestled. He's doing a good job and knows. He's a 5th-year guy. He knows where he wants to get and how he wants to get there. Does a good job of listening and wrestling hard. And then Nick looked outstanding. He's just bigger and faster and stronger than everybody, right? Like if he if he wrestles with controlled chaos, I don't know if anyone's going to beat him. If he gets a little bit out of hand, that's how he lost his one match. But speaking of that, he got to wrestle the kid that he got beat by in that match, and he torched him, in the quarters, and then had the number one seed in the semis and really beat him up pretty bad. Major, I think 14-3, and then points wise, a close match in the finals, but I think it was pretty dominant. Got out really quick on bottom. They just couldn't really open each other up on offense. I think a little bit of both of them didn't really want to be the first one to make a really truly committed attack, and then rode him out for a full 2 minutes on top, which was really impressive. He might give up the escape right at the end. I'm not sure in one-on riding time, but Nick is not someone that is known for his top riding, and I think winning that way, shows him and maybe others as well that if he wants to ride, he can. And so that was really impressive. That's a two-time All-American that he rides out for 2 minutes. They've wrestled 4 times in their career, and they split 2-2. And usually when you wrestle someone that much, you pretty much know, hey, this is how the match is going to go. Here and there, it's going to be a takedown. I think that kid was very surprised from wrestling him from before that he got rode out for 2 minutes. I don't think Nick's ever held him down for more than 20 seconds. And so I think that's some growth for him. He like I said, the big thing for him is just his size right now. He's being able to put his size on after his cuts and get it back. And, he's probably 210 to 215 pounds when he's going to wrestle in the finals of tournaments. And he's already freakishly strong and big, So, it's looking good It's looking good for those guys. It's looking good for a lot of guys. I think even some of these injuries that we had over the weekend, I don't want to call them injuries, they're a little ding-ups. I still think that we have a really, really good shot at being healthy again in January. And I think it's a really good team. I think it's a really good team that works really hard if we have all the horses in the lineup. So I'm really excited. We got practice here in 10 minutes, getting ready to get out of here and get to practice. And, I'm excited to get some of those guys healthy and some of the other guys continuing to get a lot better. But I think the second half of the season is going to be a pretty memorable one. Just excited for these guys, man. This group, they want to learn. They're fun to be around. It's kind of, I guess, revitalized me as coaching a little bit. I'm having a little bit more fun again. Back at tournaments, being able to talk to these guys and just see people that want to win and want their teammates to win, want success. I mean, there was multiple guys this weekend that on our team that are really good wrestlers that didn't get to wrestle because they, had someone in front of them. And, we're very supportive of them all week. And, for the most part, I would say that they were watching this weekend and supportive of those guys and hoping they would win, like we talked about last week. Not a team that is secretly hoping that your teammate loses so you get a chance. Yeah. It's more of, wanting your teammate to do as well as he possibly can and knowing in the back of your head that I'm going to go out there and just put better results, right? Not trying to, be downgrading your teammate, just kind of rise to the occasion of where you need to be the guy. And so, like I said, it's a really good group, and I think that's going to be a positive thing for them moving forward in the future.
Unfortunately, the injuries and the dingoes have kind of been a topic of discussion. You got about 2.5 weeks, from competition with the break coming up. What's this look like coming up as you're, trying to get healthy, but also there's a break in there? What's that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so, today, some of our guys that are a little dinged up, they're going to set out. They'll probably set out this whole week, to be honest. The guys that are healthy, some of those guys, they need to get better, right? Yep. And so this week's going to be a tough week for them, right? Before we send them off for, Division II has a 10-day mandatory period where you're off, and that's universal, so that's nice. So you know that people are not just secretly getting ahead. But you got to talk to your guys and make sure that they understand that the next 10 days, we got to wrestle hard, even when they're home for a break and all that. And so we've talked to them multiple times about, hey, you're probably not going to win the national championship or get on the podium in this 10-day period in December, but you might lose it, right? You might do something detrimental to set yourself back. And so, that's what we're really harping on, making sure that when they go home, they're doing the right things. And then we come back, and once we're back, we're right back into it, getting going again. And just, injuries are something you try to do every single thing you can, right? But wrestling's a contact sport. There's a lot of positions.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, and so, we're rolling with it. If someone's not in there, it's next man up. We've talked about that with our guys as well, is, hey, you guys need to be ready. You need to be ready to go. You never know what's going to happen. You never know when we're going to need you. And so you need to be wrestling tough and not thinking, well, I'm not the starter right now, and so I'm just going to lollygag for these next 3 weeks. And then, comes around, something happens, and you got to be the guy at regional, and you're not ready. You're not ready. And as a coach, I've experienced a lot of things, and I've experienced that, right, where we've had guys that, they were in a real close battle all year, or at least for most of the year, and kind of saw the writing on the wall. Then they stopped being so diligent with their weight and all that, and then next thing you know, they're the guy at the end, and they're wrestling in the regional tournament, and they're not even close to peaked, and they're sitting there, and you can see it, and they tell you, I'm really disappointed in myself, right, with the way I wrestled, and this, and so you got to be ready to go. You got to be ready to go, no matter if you're number 2 or not. That's number 3. That's the discipline, right? That's the discipline of doing something with knowing there might not be a reward. Okay, but I got to do it anyways. And so, yeah, we'll make sure that our guys continue to understand that, move forward, and try to just get as healthy as we possibly can.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in. We'll talk to you here in a few weeks.
Thank you.
It's the most rewarding time of the year. GoMart's Holly Jolly Rewards are here. Snag specially marked items to earn bonus reward points and game tokens. Because nothing says holiday cheer like stacking rewards higher than Aunt Carol's Fruitcake Tower. Collect all 4 tokens and you'll unwrap an additional 2,500 bonus reward points. So make your list, check it twice, and head to the app for details. Get ready to slay the season with Holly Jolly Rewards at GoMart.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coach Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I've head men's basketball coach Bob Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Jagger.
All right, Coach. Start out last week with nationally ranked number 9 Fairmont State. Fell down 50-30 at halftime. You come back in the second half at the under 5 media mark. It's a 5-point game. Fairmont does what they do, though, and they pulled away there late. Just what did you think of Wednesday's loss?
Yeah, we just I don't think we attacked very well to start the game. And their defense gave us a little trouble. And then we made some adjustments at halftime, and the guys came out and really executed. And it got down to 5 and may have ran out of gas, but, no excuses. Fairmont's really good. It was a hard-fought game.
Yeah.
I think all 9 of our games, 8 of them have been a one-possession game with 5 minutes left, and the Fairmont, the 9th one, was a 5-point game. So every game this year with 5 minutes left has been up in the air. So.
And it was kind of similar to that on Saturday with Frostburg State. You're up 7 with about 15 minutes left. They come back. It's about a 2-point game, but they close the last 5 minutes on a 17-7 run, pull away there 94-85. What'd you think of Saturday's game?
Yeah, I thought it was really odd that 17-7 run, 12 of them were free throws. Mm-hmm. And just don't see that many late in the game. And, we committed some fouls that we shouldn't have. And, things got away from us there at the end. And, there's been other games. West Virginia State, the team out of North Carolina that we really executed at the end of the games, and we pulled away. Mm-hmm. But that was one that we didn't, and they did. And they really shot the lights out, 14 for 28 from three-point land. And many of those were contested. And I'll just give them credit. They really played well, and I think we've played as tough a schedule as anybody. And hopefully that'll help us out down the road.
And you'll look to bounce back this week. Start out with Salem on Wednesday. Coming in 5-4. They're coming off a win over West Virginia Weston. What have you seen out of Salem thus far in 2025?
Really athletic, really good team, getting out in transition. I mean, just like everybody on our schedule, everybody's good, and they're at home, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready to play.
And you got Bluefield State on Saturday on the road, a team you've already played this year. But, Coach, we appreciate you coming in. Good luck this week.
Okay, Jagger, thank you.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had women's basketball coach Emily Stoller. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me on.
All right, Coach, started out the week with Fairmont State, nationally ranked Fairmont State, number 15 in the country. It was a 77-74 victory. You trailed early, down by 10, late, were able to grab the lead and hold on. What did you think of your girls' win on Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it was a gritty game. Fairmont State's defense is, one of a kind. It's very hard to play against. I was proud of the adjustments that the girls were able to make offensively going into it. I think just gritty win. We were ready to play. Fairmont State was ready to play. Close game, very well coached by Coach Stephanie. Just proud of the girls for pulling the win out.
And you had Frostburg State on the road on Saturday. From a fan's perspective, really good game to watch. I'm sure as a coach, it was a nail-biter. You take the lead there late in the fourth quarter with a second left. They get the foul. They make a free throw. Then you go into overtime. It's a close one there, too, and you get some big play down the stretch. What do you think of the girls' win on Saturday?
Yeah, Frostburg State, going into it, we know it's one of the toughest gyms and the toughest environments to play in, probably in the entire conference. It's hard going up there and getting a win on the road, playing how we play, our style of basketball, how many possessions we like, to get and to keep possessions from the other team. It's winning by 1 or 2 possessions. Definitely don't like that as a coach, so making every possession count and executing is definitely on our minds here heading into this week of basketball. But definitely proud of the girls for being able to get that win on the road in a very tough environment.
You get a chance to execute this week with Salem starting out on Wednesday. A team that's kind of struggled offensively. They're 1-7 right now. What have you seen out of Salem?
Yeah, so obviously their head coach, they've got a new head coach over there who was my assistant coach last year, Coach Corey Hines. He'll get them up and running here. I think they're in the early stages of learning and grinding and feeling the conference out with him now as the head coach. They're definitely skilled. We definitely have to bring it up to Salem as another one of those gyms in the conference that's a little bit tougher to play in, a little different atmosphere. So we're definitely going to have to be able to hit shots and knock down shots against the defenses that they're going to throw against us tomorrow. So excited about that game and to see old Coach Corey Hines again.
And you'll have Virginia Wise at home on Saturday to close out the week at 3 p.m. But, Coach, we appreciate you coming in. Good luck this week.
Thank you so much.